Okay, let's just dive right in. If you're an innovator in the healthcare AI space, you've probably felt it. The ground is literally shifting under your feet. We're in the middle of a massive, super fast consolidation, and honestly, the old rules for success, they just don't apply anymore. This isn't some small trend, it's a total reinvention of the entire ecosystem.
What we're really seeing is a brand new food chain. It's kind of brutal. On one side, you have the platform giants. They're the hunters. They own everything, the massive infrastructure, the deep connections into hospital ecosystems, all the C-suite access. And on the other side, you've got the niche innovators. You could call them the hunted. Their power comes from these brilliant, specialized AI models. But the problem is they're now operating in a jungle that's owned and controlled by those giants.
And this quote just hits the nail on the head. The time when a small, cool, standalone AI company could make it big just by having a clever algorithm, that time is over. The boutique era is done. It signals a much, much tougher environment for startups. So the real question is, what happened? What actually changed to make things this way?
Well, it all boils down to one thing, what we're calling the infrastructure moat. The barrier to entry has completely shifted. It's not about having great code anymore, it's about something way bigger and, frankly, way more expensive. A genius algorithm all by itself is no longer the key to the kingdom, not even close.
This new barrier, it's all about the plumbing. Now, this isn't the sexy, glamorous part of AI, right? This is the essential, absolutely non-negotiable foundation, compliance, data connectivity, security, all the boring stuff. The big platforms have poured years and millions into building and perfecting this plumbing. And for a startup, what that means is, if you want to get your amazing product in front of a hospital, you have to go through their system. There's no other way in. And this moat isn't just some abstract idea. It's built out of three very real, very expensive, and incredibly time-consuming hurdles. First up, you've got compliance. We're talking about a maze of certifications like ISO 1345, FDA clearance, you name it. Then there's connectivity, making sure your tool plugs into existing hospital workflows perfectly without giving the IT department a massive headache. And finally, security, enterprise-grade security. This is an absolute deal breaker. For a small startup, trying to tackle these three things on your own can be completely paralyzing.
So you can imagine all of this creates this intense squeeze on the smaller players. The market forces aren't just making it hard, they're actively set up to crush companies that can't adapt to this new reality. Let's actually look at the data because it tells a pretty stark story.
This chart shows a really critical trend. See that bar on the right? We've seen a 40% jump in something called acqui-hiring. So what does that mean? It means the giants aren't even necessarily buying a startup's product anymore. They're buying the team, the engineers, the data scientists, to bring that talent inside and make their own platform stronger. Your team, your brainpower, has become more valuable than your actual tech. And this number? Wow, this is the startup killer. 18 to 24 months. If you don't have a platform partner giving you an in, that's how long your sales cycle can take just to land one single hospital deal. For a startup that's burning through cash every month, that kind of timeline is absolutely lethal. It's a waiting game that most new companies just can't afford to play. Okay, so it all sounds pretty bleak, I know, but it's not hopeless. It just means you need a totally new strategy. And what we're seeing emerge as the new playbook for survival, and even for huge success, is this model, the hub and spoke. This breaks it down perfectly. It's a new kind of symbiotic relationship. The giant platforms, they act as the hub. They provide all that plumbing we talked about, the workflow, the security, the cloud infrastructure, the whole shebang. The startup's new job is to become the perfect spoke. That means creating a high-precision AI model that solves one hyper-specific clinical problem better than anyone else on the planet. A problem that's too small or too niche for the giant to focus on, but important enough that they need a best-in-class solution for it. So here's the bottom line. The whole game has changed. Survival now means specialization. The goal isn't to build a competing platform anymore. The new, and honestly the most viable exit path for an innovator, is to build the one perfect, absolutely indispensable spoke that an existing hub looks at and says, we have to acquire that to complete our platform. And that brings us to the final take on this whole new frontier. The map has been completely redrawn, and for every single person in healthcare AI, from the founders to the investors, the message could not be clearer. You either adapt or you disappear. So let's just recap the new rules of the game.
First, the fun experiment phase is over. This is about building scalable, enterprise-ready solutions. Second, we are officially in the age of infrastructure. The plumbing is king. Third, survival is all about hyper-specialization, not just general innovation. And finally, the biggest takeaway of all, you either adapt your entire strategy to fit into a major platform, or you will get crushed by this consolidation wave. It's that simple.
Which leaves us with one last, really critical question for every innovator and founder listening right now. When you look at your roadmap, when you look at your technology, you have to ask yourself, are you still trying to build a whole new platform from the ground up? Or are you building the perfect, indispensable spoke? Because your answer to that question is probably going to determine your entire future.